In 2011, AMG killed their naturally aspirated V8. Not because it failed, not because it was slow, because they built something faster, more efficient, and more powerful. And the regulations were coming for large displacement engines, whether they were ready or not. The M156 V8 they replaced was, and remains, one of the greatest performance engines ever fitted to a production car. Purists have been grieving it ever since. The 6.2-liter M156 arrived in 2006 and immediately set a standard that turbocharged engines struggle to replicate on feel alone. Naturally aspirated, no boost, no lag, no shortcut. Just 6,208 cubic centimeters of hand-assembled German V8, producing 457 horsepower in standard C63 form, and 510 in the Black Series variant through pure displacement and mechanical aggression. Every M156 was hand-built in Affalterbach by a single technician. The one-man, one-engine philosophy meant each unit carried a plaque bearing the builder's name. A signed engine in a sports car. That is not a marketing campaign. That is a statement about what the product means. The M156 revved to 7,200 revolutions per minute. At full throttle, approaching the red line, the sound it produced was in a category shared by almost nothing else at its price point. A hard, cracking bark that sharpened into a mechanical scream above 5,000 revolutions per minute. Owners described it as addictive. Ex-owners described letting it go as a mistake they still think about. In the W204 C63, that engine sat in a compact rear-wheel drive saloon weighing 1,645 kilograms. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Quarter mile in the mid-12 seconds. Rear-wheel drive, limited slip differential, and enough power to make the rear tires a genuine ongoing expense. It was not the fastest thing AMG made. It was the most alive. AMG replaced the M156 with the M157, a 5.5-liter twin-turbo V8 that produced more power, more torque, better fuel economy, and lower emissions from a smaller displacement. On every measurable metric, it was the correct engineering decision. In the CLS 63 AMGS, the S suffix denoting the performance package, the M157 biturbo produced 577 horsepower and 900 newton-meters of torque. 900 newton-meters. That torque figure arrives early, stays flat across the rev range, and pushes the CLS 63S to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds with 4 MATC all-wheel drive. Without it, in rear-wheel drive specification, the 900 newton-meters hits the rear axle with a force that demands immediate respect. Quarter mile, 11.8 seconds. Against the naturally aspirated C63's mid-12 seconds, the turbocharged generation is definitively, measurably quicker. The numbers don't leave room for debate. The M157 also sounds different. The twin-turbo muffles the top-end scream. What remains is deep, authoritative, and genuinely impressive. But the 7,200 RPM wail that defined the M156 doesn't survive the transition to forced induction. You gain torque, you gain speed, you lose the soundtrack that made the previous generation unforgettable. Stack these two cars against each other, and the outcome depends entirely on what you're measuring. Drag strip, standing quarter mile, CLS 63 AMGS. The biturbo torque and all-wheel drive traction close the argument before it opens. There is no scenario where 900 newton-meters through 4MATIC loses to 457 horsepower through rear tires from a standing start. Driver experience, sensory engagement, mechanical connection. C63 W204. The naturally aspirated engine communicates through the throttle in a way forced induction cannot replicate. Every input has an immediate proportional response. The power builds linearly with revs, rewarding a driver who works the engine rather than one who simply waits for boost to arrive. The rear-wheel drive chassis in the W204 is fundamentally more communicative than the 4MATIC CLS. Lighter, more direct, more immediately honest about what the car is doing beneath you. The CLS 63 AMGS is the faster, more accomplished machine. The C63 W204 is the more emotionally involving one. That distinction matters enormously, depending on which version of performance you're buying for. The W204 C63 was the final expression of AMG's original philosophy. Maximum displacement, maximum mechanical drama, and a driving character built around the engine rather than around the numbers. It is now a modern classic, priced accordingly and climbing. The CLS 63 AMGs was the opening statement of where AMG was heading. Higher output, lower emissions, broader performance across more conditions, and a character defined more by its torque figure than its redline.